Welcome, Shawn. Thank you for being a part of the mini series that we're doing.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
So, Shawn, you just recently merged with Fully Managed, and Fully Managed and TWT formerly takes care of all of your IT needs. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what Fully Managed does and what services you guys offer?
Yeah, we're an IT service provider for small all the way to enterprise businesses. Our mission is to create peace of mind. And yeah, in times like this, that's really important.
So, how has the current situation affected you?
Yeah, the current situation is very interesting for IT providers and not just us. We're really busy getting everybody set up to work from home just so they can be effective and keep their businesses running. A lot of people, there's various stages of where they're at. Some people can just pick up and go to coffee shop and do everything. A lot of other people, they need to get set up and get the right tools in place and be shown how to use them. Make sure that they're working, and then also there's a lot more security concerns too, right? That a lot of people don't think about. So we have to think about those for them and make sure that they're taken care of. So, and just like everybody, I think revenue is affected. It's kind of hard to escape that no matter what you're doing, unless you're Zoom. I mean, maybe they've had some problems since then, but there are some businesses that are really being used more now that everybody's working from home, but not the majority. I think the majority of people are trying to figure out the whole cash flow and revenue question. So.
Are you affected less now that you're under the Fully Managed umbrella?
Yeah, I think we have a really good geographic span. We're across Canada and even into the U.S. So that definitely helps. I think having the support behind us gives us a lot more power, and yeah, will just help us weather the storm and help others as much as we can too. So.
So, the big topic I wanted to talk to you about today is how do you maintain that company culture remotely? I know TWT in the past had a really strong company culture. All the employees talked about it. How do you maintain that remotely, and how can businesses improve on that?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of it's just kind of taking some of the things you did in person and moving them to online. Everybody's, I think, pretty much been in a virtual drinks, happy hour Friday at 4 o'clock, having a beer with everybody, their coworkers or even just friends. So I mean, that's a really obvious one. We do a weekly lunch with the team, so we've found a way to make that virtual by just everybody jumping on a Teams meeting, and they order their own lunch in, and everybody kind of eats lunch together and just chats about whatever, and it's a lot of fun. Um, so that's one thing. I mean, take the things you did and you enjoyed and pull them online. I think the other thing too is that just because the dust is starting to settle now, it's don't forget to, just to kind of refocus your team on that vision of this is what we're working towards. I mean, we're still working towards that, right? We're still working at adding clients, creating peace of mind, and really doing those types of things. So, not forgetting that that still is a thing. You're not just like getting whatever you have to do done today. There's still a bigger picture, and really kind of rallying the troops around that and using that as a guiding point. And I think a lot of businesses, if you have that sort of North Star where you're going in 5-10 years, your kind of big goals, you can really use that. And a lot of that's kind of driven from your values and your mission. So yeah, I'd say lean on that a lot more, really bring that in and communicate that with your team. And, if you don't have that, it might be a good time to start figuring those things out.
Have you had any issues with productivity with people working from home?
We haven't. No, I'd say the reason that is because we kind of had a really flexible work environment before. We do have an office, but it's not really mandated that you have to be there 9 to 5. So people have already kind of been really used to doing what they need to do when they need to do it, where they need to do it. And so just the fact that they're at home, it's just a bit of a different thing. They just need to kind of rejig their own personal habits and schedule. But if anything, people have more time because number one, they don't have to drive to the office, and number two, they can't really go anywhere else. So it's more just finding things to keep you sane and and happy, right? And still enjoying your day.
I think this whole crisis has kind of brought together a lot of entrepreneurs
For
through
sure.
mutual struggles. What do you think people can do to support each other during a crisis like this?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think there's so much information and so much support out there now. Um, it's really tough because the problem is you can get lots of different advice from lots of different places. I think it's really kind of you as entrepreneur looking in and saying, hey, what do I need as the business owner? What do I need right now? What do I need in a week, a month, in 6 months? And figuring that out for yourself, because then you can go out and ask people like, hey, I need this. I need this. I'm gonna need this. And really, figuring out what your problem specifically is, and even if it's a cash flow problem, figuring out the details, right? Is it a cash flow problem today, or is it going to be a cash flow problem in 3 months? A lot of people, their businesses are all different, right? So some vary. It's not just immediate. It could be you might not see it for 3 months. So I think it's really figuring out, yeah, your specific scenario and what you're going to need, and then just asking around, because you're going to be able to find an answer if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing to see how many new groups are popping up and how many people are really focused on supporting each other and going out of their way to support businesses, buy gift cards, order things. It's been really impressive. I'm hoping that we see some of that continue, and I think we will after this is all over, and have a tighter knit business community, and hopefully the majority survive all of this. Um,
Yeah.
what did what advice do you have for maintaining good cash flow and staying lean during difficult times, especially for the businesses that have taken a very substantial revenue hit?
Yeah, I mean, maintaining good cash flow, like the first step is to like, have a prepared plan. Like, how they say, have 6 months of savings in case you lose your job or something. I mean, it's the same for business, right? You need to plan ahead. Um, and hopefully, when COVID came, hopefully people weren't in that position, but some are, right? Um, so really the next step is just to figure out what the expenses are that you don't need. Obviously get rid of those. Number two is then look at your fixed costs, like your staff and your office space. Those are the biggest ones usually. And then just figure out what you can do with those. Obviously our government's been changing what they're providing, and I think we're hopefully in a pretty good spot that people can keep jobs even if they can't keep working, right? They can still, you know, be temporary or work remote, and maybe plan for the future. In the case of like a restaurant, for instance, it's pretty tough, but um, anything you can do to stay productive and plan ahead. Lots of businesses have projects they've been always wanting to get done and never had the time. So some of those now might be the time. And then also I think it's also looking ahead, 6 to 12 months, and saying like, what are we going to need in 6 to 12 months? Because maybe I have a cash flow issue now, but that thing might cost me more in 6 months. So if you can find a way to make that work creatively with whoever's selling it, maybe they'll give you a payment plan. You might actually end up saving money in the long term, right?
Hmm. And what's been the biggest challenge for you over the last 2 months?
The biggest challenge for me, I would say the lack of socialization and just getting out and seeing people, and having drinks with people, and just face to face. I mean, the video is great, but it's not the same. And it's actually it's a little bit different. You get to actually see a different part of people. You get to see into their house. You get to see their kids running around, their dog barking in the background, and so it's a different way of socialization, I guess, but it's not kind of in person, one on one, having a drink, or coffee or whatever. So I think that's been the toughest part for me, but yeah, I'm hanging in there.
That's good. Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today and providing some insight for business owners into those different things. Do you have anything else you want to add or bring up?
Yeah, of course. No, I'm here to help and give advice or ideas as I can. But like I said, I hope that when people are coming to me asking for help, they know what they need and they're not just. I mean, sometimes that's hard to figure out, but I think as business owners, we're pretty good at that. So, if you need anything, yeah, figure out what it is and come to me, and I'll see how I can help.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Shawn.
Yeah.
I
Thanks
look
for your
forward
time,
to
John.
having a beer in the office once this is all over.
Of course, me too. Looking forward to that.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you, Shawn.
Thanks.
I'll
See you
talk to you
guys.
later.
Take it easy.